Yipee-Ki-Yay, Mr. Falcon.
Bonus content.
I have two things I want to report to you. One,
Yes, report in.
I've been watching an old TV show called Wise Guy.
What's Wise Guy?
It's from the 80s.
Is that like the mob or something?
It's about a guy who's undercover in the mob.
Okay.
It requires... I feel like it warrants some digging. Because the actor who was in it, he didn't do very much else. He was like kind of popular for a little while, and then he vanished. His name, you're not going to recognize it. His name is Ken Wahl, Wahl. Like
Ken Wahl.
Wahl. He's got real like a 50s greaser look to him, and that's kind of the roles he had other than this Wise Guy role. And I looked him up, and this dude, this show is from 87. It started in 87 or ended like 90. This dude never gave any interviews where he explicitly said where he's from, what his real name is, or anything about his past. And he showed up and just decided he was going to be an actor one day. Got cast in a bunch of shit, dated like 4 Penthouse Hustler and Playboy Bunny models, right? A slew of them. He ended up marrying one of them.
I recognize this guy.
He was in like 4 motorcycle accidents. And then the story was he retired because he like physically couldn't act anymore. Like he couldn't stand for long periods of time and shit. So he quit acting, and then like no one's ever heard from him ever since.
He was in Wise Guy.
It's mysterious. It's like you watch that show Supernatural, right?
I've seen Supernatural, yeah.
Yeah. It's like he made a deal with the Crossroads demon.
Oh, yeah, and then the Hellhound got him?
Yeah, the Hellhound came in the form of motorcycle accidents. Apparently there was... All right, so he was at some party or something, and he fell down some stairs and, like, broke his neck. And he didn't want to get the woman in trouble whose house it was, or he was having an affair with her or something. So he just said he'd been in another motorcycle accident. Like, it's kind of cool. It's like the last time someone could be that mysterious about their past, you know?
Right, because this is pre-internet.
Yeah, could you imagine an actor trying to do that shit today? Like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you where I'm from.
There'd immediately be, something posted like, oh, here's a cell phone footage of so-and-so falling down the stairs.
Someone feeds their face into a facial recognition search on just Google even. They'll bring up their MySpace profile from 97. I don't know. Anyway, I've been watching that and wondering about good old Ken Wahl.
Ken Wahl.
I think it's a neat mystery. I want to find Ken. I want to talk to him. I want to find out where he's from. Because I bet you he's from fucking somewhere in New Jersey. He has that look.
He looks like a Jersey guy.
The other thing, his like cop connection dude in this show, Wise Guy, is Jonathan Banks.
Why do I know Jonathan Banks?
He was in Breaking Bad. He was Mike Ehrmantraut in Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
He's been a lot of things, but that's what people know him best from. It was weird to see him young with like hair, and he kind of plays like an uptight dick cop. It's weird.
He's one of those guys I've only ever seen him old and bald.
He was in Beverly Hills Cop. He was one of the bad guys.
I don't remember him.
He was one of the bad. He was really young and thin. He played a cop a lot and a bad guy. It's weird. So, I want to wear a cowboy hat, man. Like,
what kind of a segue is
it's
that?
not. It's just, it's how I feel. I'm getting old, and I want to
wear.
Like, I've dressed up as a cowboy for things, I guess, as a kid.
Well, listen,
but like
man.
I've never gotten to wear. Have you ever? There's places in this country where people just wear them every day to Walmart.
There's degrees of cowboy hats. You know.
Yeah.
Like there's, like what kind of cowboy hat are we talking?
Like at least something that could be classified as, you know, a cowboy hat, man.
Like something real stiff.
Like a real cowboy hat, like the shit on Yellowstone, like cowboy hats.
Why do you want to wear a cowboy hat?
I want to know what it's like to walk around for, you know, in the world where it's not weird. I don't want to wear one here.
I was going to say, you can't do that
here. That here. No, that's what I'm saying. I want to
do that around here. Be like, oh, where's this guy from? Texas?
Like a friend of mine is moving to Arkansas, and it's like the north west corner, so it's not near Texas, but like it's pretty fucking close to other hick shit, like Oklahoma and Missouri. No offense, we're from the Northeast. We don't know anything. It's the South. It scares us.
Anything south of the Mason-Dixon line is, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Virginia is a questionable region.
Delaware.
Have you ever seen West Virginia? It's terrifying. I'm afraid.
I'm aware of it.
We're aware. Anyway, like I'm wondering, like I started wondering, like I wonder if you can get away with wearing a cowboy hat there.
In West Virginia or Arkansas?
Arkansas. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, I think Arkansas, totally.
I mean, it's a big state. Like, I know if it's closer to Texas and like Texarkana kind of shit, it's more acceptable. But I've been into Wyoming, and motherfuckers just wear cowboy hats out there. It's fucking cool. And they all look somehow natural wearing a cowboy hat. I'm sure it would look ridiculous, but I don't know.
They say things like, howdy and ma'am.
They like to say, they talked about each other behind each other's back all the time, and they would say, he's all hat and no cattle. And apparently that's like the most offensive thing you can say to someone out there. I was like, all right.
You're all fur coat and no trousers, you are.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That was weird. It was all quigglied up. I want to wear a cowboy hat, man.
I mean, you get a cowboy hat.
You know,
number one, put one on your head and see how it feels.
Yeah, like I want to go to a store where there's like real ones but they don't have that shit around here. The only kind you can get away with around here is like one of those summer straw ones in the summer, and then you're still like a dick.
I don't know, man. Go to like Wildwood when they're having like one of those country music. We were there for this.
Oh, well, that doesn't count, man.
Barefoot on the Beach show, and like the number of people that showed up, not only wearing cowboy hats, but wearing cowboy hats fashioned professionally out of beer boxes.
Oh, wow,
like
that's
stunning.
Classy. That's the
Just
classiest thing you can make a hat out of.
Miller Lite and Bud Light.
Yeah.
Cowboy hats.
Oh, yeah.
Just taking over the boardwalk.
Did they have some silver? All that silver Coors Light shit. That's hot.
There were Coors Light hats. They had them. They had every imaginable beer represented on the cowboy hats.
That's so fucking Jersey. I love it.
Is it though?
But no, like you've never been somewhere. You've never worn a cowboy hat, like in the world, right?
No,
it's got to be a feeling.
Like
you don't understand because you still have hair. Like you don't understand. See, there was this entire epoch that was just a haven for bald men, and you could have a ring of hair, and 98% of the time you were wearing a hat out in the world. Nobody knew. You know.
I mean, I very often wear a baseball cap, so I think I could get used to a cowboy hat if I were somewhere where that was cool to do.
I like the hiding aspect of it. You know, like you got a cowboy hat on, you put sunglasses on, I got a beard. You're basically covered. It's a shield from the world. That's the only problem, though. I shave my head, so like that looks weird. You look like a villain with your weird shaved neck head underneath the hat.
Really? You look like Yul Brynner.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There you go. Yeah, a little bit.
Some Man in Black action.
Maybe. See, there's this instinct to go toward a fedora, but you can't do that because
that's a Jersey thing.
No, but it's a neckbeard thing now. They ruined everything. They just ruined it. They ruined the whole thing. You might as well get an umbrella and a fucking silk trench coat. It's over for you.
that comes into Wegmans. You know how there's a baseball cap, and then people wear backwards baseball caps.
I've seen
And
it
then
done.
then there's those like Kangol Jeff caps you can get.
Sure, yeah. I was
now
rocking
and
one of
then-
those when I started going bald. Yeah.
Yeah, and every now and then somebody spins it around. You're like, okay, I could see it. This dude
Samuel
came into
Jackson.
Wegmans. You know how like it's been said that like sometimes you don't wear the hat wears you.
Sure.
It looks like just out of place.
Yeah.
Well, that was this guy. He was trying out a fedora, just trying something different, and he spun it around and he wore a backwards fedora. Which
No.
I don't know if you've ever seen this in the wild, but I have.
That's stupid.
It does not look right. And
No.
like, it was so hilariously wrong, and he had no clue.
That's real bad. That's real bad.
It was awful.
This was a fashion choice. This wasn't like I'm so drunk I put my hat on wrong and went to what?
No, this was just a guy at the grocery store.
Outstanding.
He was dressed head to toe in brown leather.
I bet he was. I can see this guy already. I know this dude.
You can just hear him squeaking, and he had his backwards fedora on.
Backwards fedora. Whatever, man. I want to go to cowboy hat country.
Yeah, take a trip.
I don't want to take a trip. Take a little trip. Take a little trip.
Like, wait, you want to go, but you don't want to go.
Look, man. I want transporters to be real. I hate fucking traveling, dude. I like going places. The interim is so terrible to me. I hate flying so much.
You like being places. You don't
Yeah.
like getting there.
If it was acceptable to be like, all right, here, we're gonna inject you with this shit. You're gonna wake up in 8 hours and you're gonna be in Spain. Sign me up. I'm in. You know, I don't care. Will you put me in like a little coffin thing in the plane? Cool. I'm out. I don't care. I'd rather that than have to sit and coach. Or
I think
deal with a
there's-
goddamn airport or any of it. I used to travel so much for work. I fucking hate it so much now.
I think you stumbled onto something here.
What, tranquilized flights?
Human transport,
Yeah, human
like
freight.
consensual trafficking.
The only problem is like you get knocked out and you wake up where you're not supposed to be. And that's kind of fucked up.
You know how much it sucks when they lose your bag.
Yeah, it's a lot of trust.
You
It's
know
like,
what I mean?
it's like you got to
that they
trust
le-
them as much as doctors and your baggage handlers, and that's
They
bad.
lose your little life pod or whatever you're calling it. You wind up in the wrong state,
Or you just end up in Hoboken for some reason.
or like on the tarmac.
They just keep shuttling you back and forth from LaGuardia to JFK for no fucking reason. Then you end up in Newark. Fuck.
Yeah, or like your flight gets delayed and you wake up in the middle, like hello, banging on your little pod lid.
Yeah, like what's his name in that fucking movie with Jennifer Lawrence? Chris Pratt.
Passengers?
Yeah. That was a weird one. Did you watch? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. I only heard the controversy of it.
Oh, there was controversy. See, I just watched the movies. I didn't see the. I don't care.
Well, the controversy I heard was that like he basically woke her up without her consent and essentially doomed her to die.
That happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
She gets appropriately mad about it when she finds out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. there
She
you go.
freezes him out, and then something bad happens to the spaceship thing. They have to work together, and bombs
Hilarity
are formed.
ensues.
Yeah, hilarity ensues. Hilarity. There's another movie that kind of is along the same lines, but it's a straight up horror movie called Pandorum.
I've heard of this.
It's the Quaid, Dennis Quaid, and the bad guy from fucking 310 to Yuma, who I like and can never remember his fucking name.
Ben
me.
Foster?
Ben Foster. Yes. Ben
I'm good at this
Foster.
game. I haven't
He's in
seen
it.
these movies.
He's
but
young.
I know who's in them.
Really cool, interesting science fiction movie. You might get mad at the twist, but I don't know. I don't know.
What a twist.
Don't know how you feel. There's two twists real quick. Boom, boom, twist.
Is it on the super secret server?
It should be. It should be.
Oh, I'm watching it.
Did you ever see that? You saw The Descent, right? The cave.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Pandorum's got some elements of that in it for sure, including the claustrophobia. Very fun. Claustrophobia. Speaking of science fiction and inventive science fiction of the 90s and aughts,
The aughts.
you presented an interesting comparison to me the other day.
Yeah, man.
What prompted this little versus?
All right. Well, I mean, I'll say this. I've seen The Matrix. I saw The Matrix when it came out in 1999.
Yeah, we all did.
I was appropriately young to be really excited about it, old enough to be allowed to watch it and get it. My mind was blown.
Did you see it in the theater?
I did. My aunt took me. It was like the coolest thing I ever saw in the theater. I loved it. So then I watched it a whole bunch. I got obsessed with it. And then I heard about this other movie that people said was shockingly similar. My sisters were obsessed with it. And I finally watched it after all these years. I'd never seen it. It was called Dark City.
Yeah.
Came out 1 year prior in 1998.
Sure.
And I got to tell you, watching it after having seen The Matrix, I'm like, oh my God. They're very different movies, but there are some shocking similarities that beg the question.
Yeah, thematically.
Did one rip off the other?
So I'm not too, I've seen both of these movies many, many times over the years. I'm not super familiar with the backstory for The Matrix. The Wachowskis just wrote that, right? That wasn't
they wrote it.
It wasn't a comic book or anything first, or
no,
not
it's an
inspired
original
by.
IP.
They just ripped it off from all kinds of shit. Okay. I mean, The Matrix, there's very little that's original in The Matrix. It's just that it's all put together in kind of a new way for the time.
The package is what's original.
I saw Dark City before I saw The Matrix. I didn't see The Matrix in the theater. I ended up waiting for video for that. I don't remember why. I was a sophomore. I don't know. I should have gone. I don't know. But you know our buddy John from high school.
Oh yeah.
He is the one who told me about Dark City, because if it was remotely dark or creepy and went straight to video, he was all about it. And yeah, it was a definite blockbuster find. You know, I remember commercials for it, to be honest, on TV.
It had some marketing behind it.
Yeah, they did push it because Kiefer Sutherland wasn't a small name at the time, and they spent some budget on it. Like, it doesn't look like it today, but
that movie looked like it was expensive.
Yeah, the makeup and the costuming alone,
just the sets.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what percentage of it they filmed in actual buildings and how much of it was built, but they had to do a lot for this movie. So and I remember it was kind of a flop, and I don't know why. But
I could see why it was.
Yeah. It's very gothy. It's dark.
First and foremost, I liked it. I liked that movie.
Yeah.
It's very goofy.
Do you remember where you and I watched this in part? Didn't we watch this at like your grandmom's house, your uncle's house?
What, Dark City?
Yeah, we were with your sisters. We were I think we were on the way to your uncle's boat.
All the way through, like last week. But I'm sure it's been on when I was around. Nah, I don't remember.
I feel
we went fishing that one time.
Yeah, I feel like we stopped at some relative's house and your sisters were there. And I think we might have left them there and then went fishing. I don't remember, but it was on TV and we were in somebody's weird house and your sisters were watching it. And they're like, "Do you guys like Dark City?" Such dicks.
I mean, I could totally see that happening. That all tracks.
Did your sisters quote this one at each other? And at you? I bet you they did.
I don't know. Yeah, they used to talk about it a lot. I mean, I don't remember them quoting it all that much, but they did bring it up a lot. They were obsessed with it.
I kind of felt like they would be imitating Kiefer a lot for some reason, but
everything he said, he added a little pause of a breath between thoughts.
What the fuck was that supposed to be about, man?
I don't
Like,
know.
I know he's all fucked up because they tortured him and shit, but and he walks with a limp or whatever. But
Yeah,
what
and you
did
can
that do to his voice? It makes no sense. But
you can spot the moment when he gave it up too. Like he doesn't do it through the whole movie. He just stops doing it at a point.
well, when he embeds his those false memories in the dude's head, he talks normal in those clips.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, just in the regular setting,
Yeah.
he just stops.
All right, so real quick, the setup for Dark City, which I'm going to say because I assume most people know the Matrix, is that the audience is thrust into this mysterious city that is kind of styled like, what would you say, the early 40s or?
Yeah, it looks like it has a
It's
very
got like
noir
a
feel.
Yeah, noir-y feel. All the guys are wearing suits and fedoras, and there's lounge singers, but it's all kind of off. Like it's not a real city. You can tell, like it's not supposed to be a real city. I don't know. It's dark, obviously, because it's always night. And I mean, it's old movie with spoilers. The setup is that this is actually like a Marvel universe. It's like a city experiment, like a what do you call it? Ant farm, kind of
Yeah,
being run by aliens. These bald Nosferatu looking motherfuckers.
yeah, but they're not aliens per se.
Yeah, they're like aliens in like corrupted human bodies. Like the aliens are like these jellyfish looking things, right?
Yeah, they're like jellyfish with teeth.
Yeah, and they come out when they're killed. They come out of their skull pieces.
And they live, yeah, they're like parasites.
Yeah, I guess when they take somebody over a human body, they become all Nosferatu-y.
Yep.
But they got like psychic powers, and basically they set up people like chess pieces, and they rearrange this city at night when people are sleeping, and they'll make some people rich, some people poor, and they study them and how they react to things. They make some people murderers. They kill people. Like, they just kind of move shit around. And what are they're looking for? They're kind of looking for what makes people unique, like what gives us a soul.
They mentioned something about like trying to scientifically map the human soul.
Yeah. Their exact goals are a little mysterious, but that's okay.
They say something to the effect of that they're doing the research in order to save their species, like they're slowly dying.
Yeah,
and something about being able to define and map the human soul is integral to their survival.
Okay.
I don't know how, but that's what they say.
And their psychic powers are such that it allows them to literally change the structure of this city. Like, they create walls and buildings and they have a machine that concentrates their psychic energy when they all group together, and it lets them change like the whole city all at once.
What do they call it? Like
Tuning. I think
Cuning?
I think it's with a C, like cuning. I don't know. It's a word.
I thought they were saying tuning, but
cuning. He can cune.
He can cune.
And I mean, that's the other thing you got to get out here up front. The whole story centers around the main character, as most stories do, John Murdoch. Who is, drum roll please, the one.
Yep.
Who was prophesied to what? There's some.
Well, I don't.
The scientist, I think he says that he expected, after enough permutations were run in this fake world, and we don't know how long these people have been in this little maze. We don't know if people age here. Like, it could have been centuries. We have no idea. But he posited that after rearranging people's minds and the city enough times, eventually a person would gain the abilities that these aliens have.
As a natural evolution.
Right. And maybe even become more powerful than they are. And lo and behold, it happens with John Murdoch.
It sure does.
Who's played by Rufus Sewell. You look up his IMDb page, he's been in all kinds of shit.
I've never known that guy's name. I've always just
it's a cool name too, right?
That guy.
Yeah, and he's been
It's
good
that
guys.
guy.
He's been good guys, bad guys. He's got those eye. He's got that face. Could be either, you know. And he was great in this. He was super young, young Jennifer Connelly, a fairly young William Hurt for that matter.
Yeah, hard-boiled detective.
Yeah, it's just it's really fun. It's a little slow. It's it relies on atmosphere and creepy factor, but that's what it's about. It's about people living in a fake simulation of a world. Yeah. And that's, that is what The Matrix is about, right?
Yeah. I mean it's, as I'm watching this too, like it's the similarities are if you kind of boil both movies down to their base components and talk about them at what they are at their essence, it's like dude realizes that all is not what it appears to be, realizes that he is singular amongst the population, able to do things no one else can do and manipulate the world around him, all whilst being pursued by three like bad henchmen, bad guys, agents wearing all black, that are trying to stop him from discovering the truth.
Yeah, there's even a out of his mind ex-cop who knows the truth.
Yeah.
But everything in the Dark City version is just darker. I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I mean, the whole setup is he wakes up and he's been set up as a serial killer who kills women and carves spirals on them. Like, that's the throwaway backstory, And I mean, and the city itself is very noir-y. Like, there's trains that are very Art Deco, and all the cars are old, and like all the architecture, like it's everything kind of looks wet all the time, and they took, I think we read this, right? They took the roof sets that they built for The Crow and they used that in The Matrix, right?
They had a lot of miniatures.
I think
built
they
for
might.
The Crow.
I think they might have used some set pieces in The Matrix too, from Dark City.
Okay, yeah, and the rooftops, yeah,
because in the first movie, a lot of those night scenes, other than the green filter, they do kind of look Dark City.
Filter.
Yeah. What else did you notice? Because I mean, I've seen both of these movies within a year or so, but I didn't watch them specifically for this. But what else did you notice?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, like him just trying to piece together what is real and what's not, coming to grips with the fact that what he believed to be true is not real. Yeah, like the look of it. As soon as I saw that green tint that everything had, I was like, oh my god, this looks like the damn Matrix.
Yeah.
And then even dipping into like some of the Matrix sequels. They find themselves at that train station that goes nowhere.
Yeah, that's in this basically.
They use that same setup, slightly differently in the Matrix for that train station is like a way between different worlds or programs, but
where he keeps running off one side of the screen and runs back on the other.
Yeah, they didn't quite do it that way, and like it's just a lot, and then like there's always like the when the agents, what do you call the Nosferatu dudes in Dark City?
I don't think they ever actually call them anything, do they?
They're like Mr. Hand, Mr. Throat, Mr. Mouth, whatever. When those guys come out and are chasing them, it's like, oh my god, there's the agents, and like. There was just enough that was different though to make them very distinct from one another. And like you look at the fact that Dark City, everything that's happening is physically happening. They have a machine that's creating physical infrastructure.
Yeah, it's like an analog world instead of a digital one, for sure.
Yes, that's a much better way of saying everything that I was about to come out of my mouth.
Well, I mean,
they're physically moving people around, whereas in the Matrix, everything is like a representation of code. It's a
technically
digital simulation.
There's nothing supernatural or extraterrestrial in the Matrix,
Right.
It's all just technology. Very future-looking technology. Yeah, it's
Which
a very
makes
different feel.
A lot more sense to me than what they explained in Dark City.
I don't know, man. I was just going to say it always seemed like the motivation for the experimenters was at least more explained in Dark City. Like, you get so convoluted in the
Right.
Matrix. And then, I mean, in the first one, we had that explanation of, like, people are batteries, you know, and you're like, you know, you accepted it for the duration of the movie and afterward, but if you thought about it a little too long, and people have written fucking articles about this all over the internet, like, it doesn't
Yeah.
make any logical sense. People don't produce enough power, yada, yada, yada.
Dude, you know what's crazy about that?
What?
That wasn't the original intent, the people as batteries thing.
No, what was the original plan?
What I had read was that the producers made that choice to change it in the script because they thought it would make more sense to people than the original concept was that they were basically harvesting human beings to network their brains together to use them as a computer processor, like basically a giant supercomputer to feed the AI with networked brains as like what was powering it, which makes a lot more
Does
sense.
make more
because
sense.
Makes way more sense. But again, they didn't trust that pesky audience to figure it out, and so they just went with the whole battery thing,
The
which
human
doesn't.
body creates 10,000 BTUs of heat.
Yeah, only if you
Stupid.
feed it.
It's fucking stupid. Now that makes more sense. They should have. But then
Should have
again,
stuck with it.
yeah. But again, that's quite similar to the alien dudes. You know, all
Yes, concentrating their collective powers, you know. But at least in the Matrix, it made more sense that they were trying to they could change things at will because it was all just a simulation being run by a computer, and their motivations were like to increase their computing power. Whereas in Dark City, like they make
Yeah.
no way they don't explain at all how this machine works to change everything. They just say that like it does this thing because we need it to.
It's like a snow globe floating in space. And even like to go back to how everything is so analog, even how they reprogram people's minds. Like the doctor
Yeah.
literally runs around with these like weird syringes and injects memories into people's brains physically. Like everything is so analog in it. It's neat.
Right.
And it kind of flows with the noir-y, you know, because there couldn't be any. I assume everything is just fake. It's like as if it's a simulation. So they couldn't have him running around with a tricorder looking thing reprogramming people's brains
Right.
in a place that's supposed to look like 19th. Like I always assume too, at least that I assume that they abducted all these people from a year where this is what the Earth looked like, kind of.
Right.
And it like when would this movie come out? 98?
98.
That they've been experimenting on them like at least since like 48. You know?
If we assume that like it
at the time.
they're floating around in space in 1998.
Yeah. If you assume that, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of creepy. That's a little scary.
That was a neat twist. I did really like that when they figure out that the world around them isn't what it seems to be,
Yeah.
and they just start trying to find the boundary, and they
Yeah.
break through that
the wall. Yeah, him and William Hurt. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just the fucking stars. That was kind of
When you-
creepy, man.
When you just see the vacuum of space out on the other side of the wall, that was a cool twist.
It was like a Lovecraftian feel to that scene too. And then that's how William Hurt dies, right? Doesn't he get sucked out into space?
Yeah. He goes bye-bye.
That's fantastic. And they don't like water, right? Isn't it water?
They
and
don't
the
like
sun?
water or sunlight.
Yeah. I could see why they couldn't do the experiments on Earth. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, too much of that.
Well, all right.
yeah.
So all that said, now that we've like many years away from both releases, which one do you think holds up better in this day and age?
Oh man, I think
'Cause
it's tough.
Go ahead. I have an
I th-
argument, but
An argument. Okay, I think there are things that hold up about both of them, and then there are things that don't. You know, like the Matrix for obvious reasons, like the battery thing doesn't hold up because you like we said earlier, when you take it to its logical conclusion, it doesn't make sense. But I think visually, that movie still looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, the special effects are pretty good. They don't look anything like other 90s special effects movies. Yeah, it's
The
still
script
good.
was pretty tight, and like that movie got like just everyone stole from it because it just set such a striking visual tone that everybody wanted to copy. All that bullet time stuff, I think that holds up pretty well. Dark City, on the other hand, I mean, I think it's a really cool setup, but I just think they were constrained by the visuals of the day. Like what they made a really cool looking movie, but you know, by today's standards, I think it kind of when the jelly teeth fish start popping out and they have that big climactic brain battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when they're having their fight, and their
for
fight is
sure.
just them staring at each other, just going, straining really hard.
They have like little funnels of energy coming out of their foreheads or some shit, man. That was lame. Yeah. I mean, that was what The Matrix did. It was really smart in that it put a shit ton of guns in its weird sci-fi nerd movie.
And Kung Fu.
And Kung Fu. And Keanu.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, the brain battle's really lame. The money they spent on this movie, clearly they didn't spend enough on the CGI. Because even when the buildings are growing and materializing, they should have been able to make that look pretty good in '98.
I didn't have too big a problem with that.
A couple of them looked like it was fucking you were watching Roger Rabbit or something, man, as they were growing, you know. But yeah, the actual aliens at the end, they look fake as shit. They look real bad. It takes you out of it. It takes you out of it. But I mean, the rest of the movie I love. If they had gone with practical effects, I think for the alien parasites, it would have been really gnarly.
Yeah, you get something all weird and slimy popping out.
Yeah.
Instead of blue and glowy.
Yeah, and have it like black oil or some shit and for blood, and it could have been really simple and neat, and it would have fit. But yeah, I mean, that was the unfortunate thing about the late '90s. There were a lot of movies where they just jammed CG in because it was the new thing, and even at that time, it was a little cheaper.
Even when it looked terrible. They used it.
It blows my mind, though, in a movie like this where they clearly spent so much money on makeup and costuming and
the sets
and all of it, that they didn't just stick with making everything so analog, and then they decide to add awful floating CG monsters. It was goofy. It really does take you out of it, and yeah, for that very reason, I think even as someone who's never seen either movie, if they were to watch them both today, they would have to say they go toward The Matrix.
Yeah.
There's just too many goofy parts toward the end of this movie, and it holds up so good until that final act, which really could have been a lot shorter.
When right up until they break through that wall and discover that they're in space. That moment, I was like, this movie's awesome. And then everything after that, I was like, this is getting weird.
I was really into it up through the part where you realize Kiefer injected fake memories into his past. Like when he's going through his memories and Kiefer keeps popping up throughout his childhood, telling him things like, "You're the one, Johnny."
Yeah.
Like
they were supposed to give him one syringe to
he swapped
to merge with him, but he switched it and basically told him how to win.
Yeah, he Obi-Wan Kenobi'd him throughout his entire childhood and just gave him all those memories all at once. So it was basically like Keanu learning Kung Fu. In the computer is what it was.
It's another parallel.
Yeah, so he basically taught him throughout his entire fake life how to Kune. And then he wakes up and he's like, Ubermensch.
I know Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu. Oh, I will stare at you super hard.
Yeah, it started turning into an episode of Dragon Ball Z after a while. But
at the very end, he ends up basically with Neo like powers,
Yeah, he just makes stuff happen.
Yeah,
which
he
is
makes
like
the sunrise even, doesn't he?
it was a question I had because it looks like they pretty much like they really fucked up that whole machine area, and then somehow everything just still works.
I think, like, I don't know. I don't understand the mechanics of it, but I the way I understood it was the machine focused their psychic energy, and it didn't really have anything to do with the world, the city. Like, it didn't physically affect the city. It just, amplified their psychic power so
It was
they
like an
could,
amp. Yeah.
change the city. And he was so powerful that he could do it without the machine helping him. That's
Yeah,
how
I
I
guess-
always bought it.
I guess that would make sense because like he starts doing it and they don't know that he's doing it until they watch stuff happen.
Yeah.
And if it needed the machine, they would know. They would be like, "Hey, who's
Yeah,
tuning?"
because
right
remember,
now?
the guys, the bad guys, they could do little things when they were just out and about in the world, but they needed to all come together and use the machine to, like, change shit. And he could change shit all by himself. And again,
he's the
it's
one.
kind of like, it's like, the Agent Smith powers versus what Neo's able to do by the end. I mean, the motherfucker's just flying.
yeah.
He's literally flying. And at the end of Dark City, if he took off and flew, like, you'd be like, yeah, that tracks. Like, that would have made sense. He could have
He's
floated.
He's using his brain powers.
Yeah, the Nosferatu guys, they floated, it's close. No, there's a lot. I just don't know. They're so close, and the Matrix must have taken so long to make. Did they film the Matrix before
I don't know.
Dark City
Yeah,
came out? Like, when? How did that all? I wonder how all that stacked.
Yeah, I'd have to look at when the production was happening. But God, it's just another. It wouldn't surprise me that there were two movies that were this similar. But again, it's like they came out like a year apart. Why does this keep happening?
Well, you got to imagine that scripts float around in Hollywood a lot, and so many people have to work on movies that the basic concept probably gets copied a lot. And people in Hollywood are always like, well, that worked, let's try it again. And for whatever reason, certain concepts get hot for a couple years. Like, things are people were into, it was the 90s, like The Crow was big, and they were still taking chances on scripts that were a little offbeat and dark and neo-noir-y and gothy, right? And, they were trying to blend genres like sci-fi with anything. So you got movies like Dark City, but they didn't hit so hard. But then The Matrix, which you could argue was like, kind of electronica gothy side blended with hackers, And
Yeah,
then,
it was real computer heavy.
yeah, and then thrown into a sci-fi blender so that you get what the fuck is the name of the ship? Ozymandias? What's the name of
Nebuchadnezzar?
The Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah, I knew it was one of them. You get those sequences, which are, total futuristic sci-fi shit.
Oh yeah, like the post-apocalyptic bit.
Yeah, and you get to make it like a submarine movie, at least in the
Matrix
first one.
had such a cool look to it.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. The world of it was very 90s. Like, that was instead of being a period piece, it was very contemporary in a lot of ways. I mean, that's the thing that doesn't hold up but the fact that the Matrix world was supposed to be the late 90s, and they say it, right?
Right.
Kind of absolves them of it. Like, you can be like, yeah, man, those are some 90s sunglasses, those fucking Oakleys, but, fucking, that's what they were rocking, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's and upon first watch, there's a couple things about both movies that bother me, but like they make sense when I think about them. And it's like the two things that one for the Matrix is like you look around and his whole world has all this like lack of detail in it. There's no details in the Matrix.
It's true. It does feel like a poorly rendered video game sometimes.
Right, and you think like, God, it's like, did they get lazy? But then when you go back and think about it, it makes sense. Like, if you were gonna try to create this incredibly realistic simulation, you would also want to kind of, you wouldn't want to waste resources, computing resources on stuff that wasn't necessary. You know,
Yeah.
you would just fill in enough detail to make the simulation stick, and everything else be damned.
And at the same time, it's not people coding this
Right.
thing. You know?
Yeah. And then from Dark City, like I remember like Jennifer Connelly. I didn't like Jennifer Connelly in that movie at first because she was just like so like understated, and she's like, John, where have you been? Did you leave me? Did you kill? And she's just like, it's like she's phoning this in. But then you think about it, and it's like, well, yeah, how would these people act? She's probably been living this life for like a day and a half. You know, and somebody just like stuck it in her brain, and it's like her probably like fifth or sixth different life that she's lived, and like the way that they all seem like confused, like they just kind of like woke up from a dream and they're sleepwalking, and it makes perfect sense when you think about it.
That's true. And I mean, what do they both do? They both force us to ask questions about what is reality, what is, you know,
what makes you.
What is our identity? We perceive the world through our very limited senses, but what happens when you can, like in Dark City, they literally control the world, and instead, the Matrix, they control your brain.
Your perspective.
Yeah, so that your senses are fooled into believing that there's a different world, which is something that at the same time is just as fantastic but more realistic to us. In this day and age, I think, because we can really visualize that, you know. And I mean, isn't there even that philosophy that as soon as we can come up with the idea of a simulated world, that means there's a likelihood that we're in one?
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah, like if we can conceive of it, then it's probably happened already.
Oh shit!
You know, and there's a lot of people who. Not a lot, but there's a subset of people who believe that.
Yeah.
That we live in a simulation.
You know, it's funny. I've heard people offer all this evidence and these hypotheses about to confirm that we live in a simulation. And I always kind of dismiss most of it, but I heard one the other day that made me think. Not because it was like so profound, but it was just I just thought about it and I was like, oh my God, no, I've never seen that. Just it's a stupid question, but think about this. Have you ever seen any of your neighbors bring in groceries?
Yes.
Really?
Directly across the street neighbors, I have seen them pull up with groceries.
Shit. Okay,
sorry.
never mind.
They're the only ones, though. Everyone else down the street totally have never. I don't believe they
I live in
eat.
a dense little neighborhood. I am surrounded on all sides.
Yeah, you
by
got
people.
houses everywhere. It's like leave it to Beaverville. You don't see people pulling in groceries.
Never.
Well, your neighborhood also has a lot of garages. Like a lot of people do pull into their garage and then unload the car.
That's a fair point.
It's true though.
I don't actually believe this. It was the only thing that ever made me like think. But if you were to ask me right now, like which scenario seems more likely that we're actually in a city being controlled by a bunch of like, you know, ghostly white vampires using their brain powers to physically manipulate our world and make us trade places every couple of nights to see what happens, or we're all in this computer simulation and none of this is real. I know like that one seems a lot more like likely.
Yeah.
I would buy that more.
There's still a lot of questions, but yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, there's a lot of examples of exploring these same themes well before these ideas. You know, they usually used to use dreams, you know, for the same purposes and to ask the same questions in literature. About perspective and reality, then drugs.
Yeah.
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 Ether. Fucking, I don't know, man. I don't know.
What a mind job.
What a mind job. Yeah, that was a lot of people. This was the first time they even, it blew their minds, man. I remember that being really funny. Like, I grew up watching a lot of sci-fi shit and Twilight Zone shit, and I'm like, yeah, it was neat. Matrix was neat because it was done really well and looked great. And I wasn't super blown away by the concept, but I remember some people were like, "Whoa."
That was me. I saw that movie. I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool."
There were parts of it that I was like, "Whoa!" Like the downloading abilities thing. That made me go, "Whoa!" I wanted to do that. That would have been that would be really neat. I never
made
thought
college
of that before.
a lot easier.
Yeah. I never thought of that before. That was I
I
never
know
saw
calculus.
that. Yeah, shit, man. How many things? I know Spanish. I know Icelandic. Why? I don't know.
Love that.
It's pretty close. That might be the first thing I did was just download every language. That would be rad.
Every language?
Yeah, well, most of them anyway. Wouldn't it be cool to just be able to read ancient Greek and shit and Latin?
I would download sheet music.
I would download how to play an instrument.
Yeah, like I would download that way you could just say a piece of music and I could just play it.
That would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet, man.
Like Smoke on the Water. No, I'm kidding. It's so easy.
Yeah, they didn't have all that cool shit in Dark City. They just had brain needles.
Yeah, here's your weird incomplete memory of Pebble Beach.
Yeah, and then what? Like now what for the snow globe? What can he pilot that motherfucker through space? Like what happens now?
I don't know.
Does he just create utopia with whoever the fuck is left alive? What do they eat, man? Where do they make the food? There's the automat. Where do people get the food? What do they make the food from?
I remember the automat was crazy. That automat was like, I liked that detail too because that was the first thing. Did they have those back in the day?
Yeah, there was a thing.
That's real?
Yeah, I watched the documentary on it actually.
So you walk in a room and there's a bunch of little windows.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, yeah, I'll have that banana. And then you reach in and you grab your banana.
Yeah, you put
Or I'll have that pie.
They were coin operated. You put in a coin and the door unlocked. And you opened it and took it. It was like 5 cents for a piece of pie. You put in a nickel, you get pie.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The Horn and Hard Arts, I think, was the big chain. There was like the landmark ones in New York City. And they were open 24/7. And like apparently they were known for having really good food. But it was like but it was like a cafeteria thing where like you ate at cafeteria tables and like you would eat with strangers like at the same table sometimes, and they also had a reputation for really, really good coffee. And they had these elaborate urns. I think they were elephants. The spouts were elephants for the coffee.
Get the coffee.
Yeah. And like that was a trademark thing. They were really popular for right until fast food started coming along, killed them.
I saw the automat and I thought like, well, that's not real.
Really?
That's our first clue that this all is not what it seems. But apparently, I know nothing.
No, I mean it was a blip, and it was only in major cities because it wasn't around long enough to proliferate further. But it was apparently it worked really well, and it was really popular. It just fast food was just it was cheaper to set up a fast food place with a tiny menu than it was to set up an automat. Because they had like cooks, like they had
A full kitchen.
Yeah, there was a whole kitchen behind all that shit.
I want to go to an automat.
I've always wanted to. I don't think there's any left. There's not even like a throwback one. Check out that documentary though. I'll look for it.
Full building vending machine.
Yeah, that's really what it was. This is a cafeteria vending machine. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a neat concept if you think about it. And I mean, when there's the dinner rush, they just put up based on how many customers they got, they'd put up a certain number of pot roasts and shit. And yeah. I don't know, man.
Stupid now because I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, dude. Like, I think the last one closed in like 1962. Relax, you're good. I mean, that's like my parents never ate at one. Like, they didn't have them around here either. Like I said, I think it was mostly just a city thing. It was like a business person's thing. It was quick.
Oh yeah, you pop in, get a coffee, bagel, donut.
No interaction either. No interaction. You just
sounds perfect.
Did you in college? we had this conveyor belt thing that you would put your tray on and it would take it back into the kitchen to like the dish pit or whatever.
Okay.
And I think that's how they had it set up at Automats. Like when you left, you just put your tray on a fucking conveyor belt and
It would
dipped.
go in a hole in the wall.
Go in a hole in the wall, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
No, we didn't.
the one in college, like sometimes I guess they would get backed up or they didn't have enough people and the conveyor belt would just keep going with all the dirty shit on it and people would
It would just come
keep
back
stacking.
out.
People just keep stacking more shit on top of it and it would be like 2 feet tall just going around. And then, shit would get off balance and it would come around and shit would fall and oh my God.
That's funny.
Someone would be back in the back cursing. Like, holy shit, I gotta go. These Amway people. Not Amway. What the Aramark.
Aramark.
Oh my God. Fucking Aramark workers. That company's evil. All right.
What a weird movie. What a weird movie. And
Right.
then somehow is just very similar to this other one.
Well, I got to ask you then, since you are representing yourself in the next generation, when your kids are old enough to appreciate them, which one do you show them first?
Oh, geez. I mean, I think the Dark City is darker and more adult, but Matrix is way more violent.
That's true. That's true. None of them really have a lot more. None of them really have a ton of blood. There's a little nudity in Dark City, though. There's some boobs.
Yeah. And there's like their whole
boobs.
serial killer angle.
Yeah.
But then the Matrix, like, there's not. Yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of blood, but they just flat out blow people away
A lot of shooting.
with guns. Like she shoots a guy point blank right in the head. That scene's awesome. She's like, dodge this, and then that was so cool. I don't know. I think I show him the Matrix first.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of kid too.
I think the Matrix is less to wrap your head around.
You could have a weird gothy kid. They'll just
I probably will.
They'll be like, yeah, I already watched Dark City on YouTube. It's lame.
This movie's so old.
Stupid Nosferatu looking dudes and cartoons. Stupid.
Something will have come along by then to rip both of them off that they'll think is way cooler.
By then, we will all be living in a simulation.
Guys, you have to see this movie. It's very prophetic. I think you'll really like it.
I hear that's exactly what Kiefer would talk like when he was all snowed out, all fucking fired up on the yayas.
Maybe that informed his character choices.
Maybe he was just fucking coked out of his mind through this whole movie and just wondering why he made Flatliners.
I saw that one.
Yeah, everyone saw that one. The only thing worse was the remake.
Oh, I heard that was bad. I didn't bother with that.
Unwatchable.
That bad.
I just always loved the fact that the name of the movie is just it's just the whole fallacy that the whole movie's based on. It's fucking hilarious. Like you can't shock someone back to life from a flat line. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, like
Never did.
You need to get someone's heart pumping and then shock it into a stable rhythm.
Yeah, the shocking is about the rhythm. You don't really bring someone back from the dead. That just doesn't happen. You can keep the heart pumping artificially, and then sometimes it takes over again. But yeah, you don't shock someone and they just magically come back to life. It doesn't work like that. I know because I'm a doctor.
You're not a math doctor.
No, but I'm a doctor.
Or a map doctor.
No.
But you're a doctor.
Yeah. I was trained as a medic on YouTube. And
YouTube.
Today, that means something. That's just as good as school. Or whatever.
Yeah, YouTube University.
YouTube Doctor School.
Jesus.
I have an app in my watch for it. It's okay.
For what?
Doctoring. Doctoring app. That's what it's called. I mean, it tells you that your doctor level is like Old West barber. But
oh yeah.
I mean, that's better than nothing. And
like
you can
my
write.
brother-in-law said something. He's like, yeah, old doctors in the West used to be like, oh yeah, you got ghosts in your blood. You should do cocaine about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the great thing. When you take this course, like you can't do most things. Like you can't help people with most things, but you can write scripts for cocaine and morphine, and that fixes a lot of things. You know, for a while.
He suffers from an imbalance of the humors.
He has too much blood, like Nosferatu. There's too much blood.
Too much blood.
She's simply caked with blood. Bleed her. Get the leeches, Mom.